Hello, my name is Jeffrey Young. I am from Advanced Marine Technologies, and I'm here today to talk to you about chitin. Chitin is a natural product that you've probably heard about for commercial or organic farming, but you may know very little about it. So we will try to teach you today what chitin is, how it's made, why it may or may not have worked for you, and what we do at our company to try to provide a better product. So what chitin is, it's a natural polymer and performs much like plastic. It's a thin layer that is the base layer for anything with an exoskeleton, like crustaceans, lobster, and crab, or even in small things like the common housefly. Anything with an exoskeleton has a base of chitin surrounded by calcium carbonate, which gives it strength. What we have here today to show this is a lobster claw, and this lobster claw is very strong, so it has a lot of calcium carbonate to give it strength. Chitin in its natural state is very bendy and not very strong. So if you look at this lobster shell, if you see right in here, you can see a thin layer of chitin. We broke off the other arm of this claw to expose the chitin. So you can see there's a thin opaque layer in the center surrounded by calcium carbonate. Now the problem with what is used commonly in agriculture to deliver chitin, especially to organic farms, is you typically will use crab shell. And this is an example of a couple of different crab shells. This is a red crab meal, and this is crab shell from Jonah crab. This is a very common crab used when people are trying to use crab meal. And what you'll notice here is that, especially in the Jonah crab, it has a lot of calcium carbonate on it. It's very strong. The red crab has a little less calcium carbonate, but in all of these shells, there's a thin layer of chitin in the middle surrounded by calcium. So when you go to put this out into the soil, what has to happen is, in order to expose the chitin, what is the active ingredient, you have to somehow remove the calcium that surrounds it. Down in Florida, where they've used this with very little success, they do not have the ability in the soils, because they have alkaline soils, they cannot get rid of the calcium off of that, and therefore you put out crab shell and you get no chitin in the soil. Other ways to get the chitin off is, again, acidic soils, not alkaline soils, but also a high amount of fungal biomass in your soils will do that as well. But typically in a lab, if you're going to do it, you would chemically react it. So what we do at our company is, instead of delivering you crab shell, and some companies will even take this, mill it down to a 100 mesh size and mix it in with some other fertilizer to sell you chitin. But even at that small micron level, that 150 micron, you still have calcium surrounding the chitin. You still need to remove the calcium. So what we do is, we start with a red crab. This is caught in 2,000 feet of water. The red crab lives on the continental shelf, and it eats anything that comes down the shelf, which isn't a lot. And one of its main parts of its diet is, as it grows and molts, sheds its shell, it turns around and eats the shell. This shell is very thin, even though it's at 2,000 feet. It's a thin, pliable shell, high in chitin. So this crab has the enzymes within its stomach to digest chitin. Now, chitin as a natural polymer is very similar to plastic. NOAA has video of red crab eating plastic waste from humans that has drifted into the ocean and down the continental shelf. So the enzymes in this crab are extremely aggressive. So what we do at our company is, we take fresh, live red crab, comes off the boat, the cap gets pulled off, the meat gets sold for human consumption, and what's left is the cap and all the guts where the enzymes are. That comes directly to my facility. We enzymatically digest it, and when we enzymatically digest this, we're digesting, using its own enzymes, the chitin within this shell. We turn it into a liquid, which is very important. We don't have any calcium surrounding it. It is a liquid, so when you put it out into the soil, it's readily available and highly active. We sell at Advanced Marine Technologies a product called Root Formula. It is 25% chitin content used to feed beneficial fungi in the soil, but we developed it specifically to be a highly active chitin product because there is a tremendous lack of that in the marketplace today. So hopefully you've learned what chitin is, why crab shell may or may not work for you, and why liquid chitin that's been enzymatically digested is really the highest potent product on the market today. Thank you.